Hello everyone, it is me, Mega Maniacs, and we all know that LEGO has several controversies. I think at least two. See, LEGO is one of the weirdly most controversial toy companies because they keep getting themselves in dumb drama that doesn't really matter. And here's the thing, right? I don't really care. I have been very public in my statement that it is kind of dumb. Helmet holes, don't care. Like, I don't care. The fact that we don't have the most pristinely accurate figures ripped straight out of whatever source material they're from doesn't really bother me. I don't need my block toy to be 100% accurate. Do I care about the LEGO stock market? No, I do not. I made an entire video, the LEGO hot take on just dumb LEGO hot takes that make me question my sanity. But there is one complaint that kind of gets buried under all of the dumb stuff that actually is important and something I do care about and I think we should talk about. This complaint is LEGO's pricing. You see it get brought up here and there, usually when LEGO pulls some outrageous pricing out of nowhere. But for the most part, it's overshadowed by the really dumb stuff like helmet holes that really doesn't matter or affect anything. And I want to shine a spotlight on LEGO's pricing because they're getting a bit too comfortable with it. So, I don't want this video to be just about me, so I wanted to ask you guys, yes you, the community, on the best platform ever, that is sarcasm by the way, Instagram. Which, yeah, it's a hellhole, but I still use it for some odd reason, and I asked you guys what the most overpriced, just dumb pricing in the last few years has been. And I thought there would be a lot more variety in answers, but you guys kind of just said the same two sets, so we're gonna talk about those two. But first off, I do want to just state that it's not all doom and gloom, you know? A lot of these videos talking about problems with LEGO really make it seem like it's just over, right? It's over, like we're cooked, right? It's just, it's all over, we've lost, and we're cooked, right? But that's not the case almost ever, and it's definitely not the case here. There are some sets that are at amazing price points that I love. The two best valued sets out right now, and if you want to pick these up, here's my recommendation. The LEGO Ideas Viking Village and the LEGO Indiana Jones Temple of the Golden Idol. These two sets are some of the most well worth your money sets out on the market right now. It is truly fantastic how fantastic these sets really are. If you're looking for something more like Star Wars, there's also some really good priced Star Wars sets out right now. For example, The Invisible Hand. A beautiful set that for $50 really is a steal. There's also sets like the Ghost and Phantom 2, which for $160, I actually think that's very fair. Or the ATTE, which is a amazing price for that set, by the way. A very underrated set that people really only talked about because helmet holes got introduced in it, but like, so did Phase 2 Commander Cody. Nobody talks about that set. It's a fantastic set. So yeah, those are my recommendations for sets worth your money. Some other ones I'm just gonna throw out. The Training on Dagobah diorama, very good, very worth your money. The Executor Superstar Destroyer, very good, very worth your money. The Inquisitor's Transport Scythe, very good, very worth your money. And I could probably keep going. Every theme has sets that are worth your money, and I think are very much good. Well, kind of except one. This theme is LEGO Marvel, and the two sets that everyone said were the most overpriced sets out right now were both from LEGO Marvel. So let's go ahead and talk about them. The first set that was overwhelmingly the most popular pick and the one that everyone said is the most overpriced set out right now is the Hoopty. We all hate it, the Hoopty. The set released in late 2023, the Hoopty was based off the Marvel's movie, and overall for $80 was not very good. At a little over 400 pieces and 3 minifigures, those being Monica Rambeau, which was debatably a step down from the last one, Captain Marvel, which wasn't very good, and Miss Marvel, which also is not a great figure. I don't know why, I just really don't like that figure for some reason. I like the character, I just don't like that figure. But what people are really mad about is the build. Why? Why is this $80? Why are you spending so much on this? For example, for the same price, you could get the Straining on Dagobah diorama. For a little bit less, you could get the Executor Superstar Destroyer. And for even less, at $50, you could get the Invisible Hand. $50 Invisible Hand or $80 Hoopty. Wow. I think I'm gonna pick the Hoopty, personally. It is astounding how kind of overpriced this set is. Like, not even kind of. This set is overpriced, and it's bad. I don't know why they decided to do this. But there are people who do defend it, and I've seen some people say that it's because the Marvels was a flop, box office flop. Now, I'm not here to say if the movie was good or not. That's not what I'm trying to do here. But the movie did flop at the box office. So, let me give you another example. The other set that everyone was talking about and was saying was overpriced. You might have seen it behind me. The X-Men X-Jet. Released this January is a set of all time to be sure. Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking, pricing this at $80. It actually has less pieces than the Hoopty, which is surprising as hell, and, you know, it's pretty bad. Now, you can't even say this is just because the source material ended up being a flop, because X-Men 97 is one of the best, highest rated shows out right now. Truly, it is an innovative, amazing show. But this set is not innovative and amazing. The figures are pretty bad, to be honest, and very inaccurate to the show. And the build is okay, I guess, but overall, it's nothing special and definitely not worth $80. If you personally ask me, this is a worse deal than the Hoopty. I don't know why they made this. It's pretty bad. But let's calm down a minute, because those are very, very overpriced sets. But what is overpriced, per se? What does overpriced mean? And what is it all about? Like, what defines overpriced? Those sets are clearly very, very overpriced. But what is an overpriced set? Is it a set that is just way too expensive, over the top, like the X-Jet and the Hoopty, that are just so expensive for no reason? It's baffling, because yeah, there are a fair few of those, but if that was our definition, I wouldn't be making a video on it, because yeah, they exist, but they're not very common. Let me go right ahead and shoot you some sets that are considered overpriced, and I would consider overpriced, but by our standard definitions, technically aren't. The Mas Espa Padres diorama. A set releasing this May, just in a few days from now, which is being lambasted right now for being absurdly overpriced. 2 poly bags and a pile of rocks, as people are saying. This set truly is insane at $80, and personally, I don't see $80 of value in this thing. It's pretty goofy, and I don't see it, no one sees it, and it's being very much criticized for being super overpriced and super just bad, alright? But when you actually look at the piece count here, we're at 700 pieces at this set, and a diorama that is about the size of the Dagobah training diorama, and overall very comparable to the Dagobah training diorama in value, which was also $80. But wait, no one complained about the Dagobah training diorama's price point. Everyone agreed that that is an amazing set that is well worth the price. I even said that it was well worth the price just a few minutes ago. So what's going on here? Why are people super angry about this set and very confident that's overpriced and Dagobah trading isn't? Well, the issue is perceived value is very, very important when we're looking at LEGO sets. You see, Dagobah Training Diorama has 3 minifigures and overall a more built-up set. When you compare it to the previous versions, it just looks like a lot more, which makes people more willing to fork out more money for it. But when you look at the Mos Espa Pod Race, it really is just 2 polybag builds into a pile of rocks, and even if those are really detailed rocks, and if the polybag builds are a bit more souped up, maybe polybag builds on steroids, you could say, it's still kind of just pile of rocks and 2 polybags. That doesn't look appealing for $80. See, this is why everyone kind of abandoned price per piece, because it just doesn't work. Like, yeah, by price per piece standards, the Mos Espa Pod Race might not be super overpriced, but no way am I paying $80 for this set. There's no way. It's not happening. A similar thing with the Sith Infiltrator to a lower extent, and I think this is also where LEGO's graphic design department is kind of failing. The box art for this set is absolutely terrible and does it a complete disservice. It looks weirdly flat and odd, like you're not getting $70 worth of set here. How would you even fit a figure in this thing? That's what I was thinking when it was first revealed. Plus, only having 3 normal figures is just preposterous. Scandalous, I could say. Goofy as all hell. It is just a mess of a set, right? But when you actually see in-person reviews, it's actually pretty sizable and pretty tall, to be honest. Like, yeah, they shortened it from the frankly absurd length of the previous ones, which honestly was just kind of ridiculous. They shortened it, but it doesn't even have that many less pieces than the last version. Despite being smaller and overall more compact, it's about the same price and about the same piece count. But a lot of people are very upset that the set is $70 because the product images LEGO shows are frankly bad, and they also do a bad job of marketing that Saw Gerrera is in this set. Like, you would not know Saw Gerrera is in the set unless you look at the very bottom left corner of the box. Like, online, none of the pictures have Saw Gerrera except the in-person pictures, which are like the 10th picture along the line that nobody looks at. The first picture you see on LEGO.com doesn't even have that 4th figure. So if you're just scrolling by, you just see 3 figures, which makes the set even less appealing. Is the Sith Infiltrator technically overpriced? No. But it does not look like this should be $70, and I think we can all agree on that. So what is going on here? What actually is overpriced and not overpriced? Yeah, there is some nostalgia and inflation that also carry and are important to this discussion, to where people will look back at old sets fondly and not really look at the pricing there and be very critical of new sets just because they're new and not what they grew up on. Which, yeah, that seems like quite a bit of a skill issue, to be honest, but that's not really the majority of it at all. And it really is confusing, right? What's going on here? Are we ever gonna get to the bottom of this? Quite frankly, no, honestly. LEGO is gonna keep doing the goofy inflation until they do sets like the X-Men Jet, where people really get mad and then they walk it back and kind of chill out on their pricing. And honestly, I don't know what constitutes an overpriced set or not. It's completely subjective. You might look at some of the sets I was talking about earlier and think those are overpriced. It's really subjective. What is overpriced and what isn't overpriced is very just confusing, and honestly, the fans are very all over the place about it. Well, except for the hoopty. We can all agree that the hoopty's overpriced. I don't think there's anyone who's gonna say it's not. But at the end of the day, what's the solution for this? Because LEGO can't just make stuff cheaper. That's not how it works, and I think a lot of people think that's how that works, but it's not how that works. LEGO is paying licensing fees and a bunch of other just costs of making the set itself. And that gets very, very expensive, especially when there's new molds or big pieces involved. It just becomes a mess. And inflation, like I brought up earlier, is indeed a big part. So what's the solution here? Because we're still buying it, and we're gonna keep buying it. LEGO's gonna keep upping the pricing, and theoretically this would go on forever until LEGO is quite frankly out of everyone's price range. Well, I don't know. I don't know a solution. Being completely honest, I have no idea what the solution is here. The obvious answer is to boycott LEGO, but quite frankly, I'm not M&R. I know that wouldn't work. That's dumb and would never... Again, this is the biggest toy company in the world we're thinking about here. We can't just boycott them and say, no, we want better pricing. Yeah, we cannot buy the sets with the extreme pricing, but like, does that even do anything? Nobody bought the Hoopty, and then they made the X-Jet, which was even worse of a value. And I know for sure people are buying the X-Jet. A lot of people seem to have it, despite the pricing. And also despite the really odd reviews on LEGO.com. Like, it has a 2-star rating on LEGO.com. How is that possible? I didn't even know that was possible. How did they do that? What? I don't know, man. But overall, the answer here is very cryptic and confusing, honestly. We don't know a good answer, but I feel like this should be brought up as a talking point regardless, because the LEGO's pricing is very important. LEGO is already one of the most expensive hobbies you can get into, and does drain your bank account, to be completely honest. And it's only getting worse to where lower income people might not be able to buy a lot of LEGO. I mean, the majority of sets are over the $100 price range, and there's even some sets in that $50 price range which are just not worth your money. And overall, it's not like you're getting... sometimes it really doesn't feel like you're getting your money's worth, which is bad. People should be able to readily get LEGO without having money issues, but that seems to be the trajectory we're heading on, and I don't want that to get worse, because that would be very bad for my wallet. And everyone else's wallet, but primarily my wallet, because I have no self-control. Please help. But I want to ask you, the viewer, what's a good solution to this? How can LEGO fix this without causing issues or making licensing problems or whatever? How can LEGO fix this realistically? Because I don't know. And regardless, I hope this does bring attention to the issue and get people to mash their brains together, because realistically that's the way all problems are solved, by people just putting their brains together and trying to figure out a good solution here. I don't want to just see blind LEGO hate, because LEGO hate realistically doesn't do anything. Constructive criticism is the best way to solve issues like this, and just screaming and being incoherent isn't gonna do anything, really. It's just gonna make the problem worse. So, yeah, that's about it. I know this is a bit of a different video than usual, but I wanted to talk about it because this is a very important topic to me. Alright everyone, thank you for watching. See you all next time. Bye bye.